Hello everyone, this is Lalita ma'am and welcome to my virtual classroom. So, I welcome you all to my channel Mantram by Lalita Rao. So, as in the previous video, we have discussed about what is cell, why it is known as structural and functional unit of life. Yes, we have also discussed about the prokaryotic cells, the eukaryotic cells, and what are the like different unicellular organisms, multicellular organisms, and also we discussed about that cells vary in their structure, shape, and size depending upon the location where they are present or what function do they perform. They have a different shape or they exist in different size. So in today's class we are going to discuss what is the structure of cell. So I hope you all are ready for this wonderful lecture. Okay, but before I start my session, I would like to tell you all, or I would like to request you all, if you have liked the session, so please don't forget to click on the like button, share and subscribe. Okay, so share it with the maximum people so that many of them get benefit of this wonderful video. And for any suggestions, you are always welcome, and please do comment in the comment section. Okay, so let us start the structure of cell. Okay, now as we have discussed that cells have like different shape and size, but all these cells have a common structure. Okay, so all the cells they have a common structure, whether it is a plant cell or it is an animal cell, but their structure is similar. Okay, they have certain components, like a cell also contains certain components, and those components are common in case of plant cell or animal cell. So this is the generalized structure. Okay, so we are discussing about the generalized structure of cell. Okay, so this is the generalized structure of cell. Now, certain things or certain components may be present in plant cell and certain components might be present only in animal cell. But in general, what a cell contains, let us start discussing about it. So all the cells, they differ in shape and size, but they have some basic structure. So this is that basic structure of a cell. So a cell, it contains both living as well as non-living parts. Okay, so there are certain parts present in the cell which are living, and there are certain parts or structures which are non-living. So in all, we can say that cell consists of both living as well as non-living structure. Now the important, some of the important, even though there are different parts or structures we can see here, yes, but the some of the important parts of the cell, they are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. So we can consider them as some of the important parts of the cell. Okay, so what are the important parts of the cell? Some of the important parts of the cell are cell membrane, cytoplasm and nucleus. Now let us see or discuss them about them in detail. Okay, so cell membrane. What is cell membrane? You can see here the beautiful image. Yes, so this image shows, like, which is in the background, this part or membrane. If you play tabla, so tabla has a membrane. Okay, or every, like, many instruments, they have its own membrane. So membrane in general, the word membrane means it is the outermost covering. Okay, so the outermost covering of a cell is known as cell membrane. So cell membrane is known as outermost covering of the cell. Now, this outermost covering, what is the function of this outermost covering of the cell? Now, this outermost covering, we can see here, this part, okay, this outermost covering, it has some functions. So the one of the function is to protect the cell. What does it do? It protects the cell from the other parts, okay, from the other cell. You can say that this membrane, suppose this is one cell, we have one cell here, we have another cell here, we have another cell here. So this cell membrane, this covering part, this protects or separates or distinguishes between these two cells. We can separate the two cells by this membrane. So it is one function is to protect the cell from external factors and also to separate it from the other cells. Okay. Now, this, how is this membrane? This membrane is porous. Porous means it has small holes. Okay. So as it is porous and it has small holes, so it is selectively permeable. Now, what do you mean by selectively permeable? It means it permits only certain or only few materials, or few materials can be allowed to enter and leave the region. So from here, all the materials cannot enter, all the materials cannot go, only selected materials. So the selected materials can enter or leave the cell. That is why it is known as selectively permeable. Now plant cell, it has additional layer. So if you talk about plant cell or animal cell, both have a cell membrane. But plant membrane, it has an extra layer, additional layer, which is called a cell wall. So if this is the cell membrane, then it also has a cell wall. So additional layer. Apart from this cell membrane, it also has an external layer or additional layer, which is known as cell wall. So when you write the difference between plant cell and animal cell, you can include this point. You can say that cell wall is present in only plant cell, but it is absent in animal cell. Okay. So along with this video, you will be in a position to find out the difference between plant cell as well as animal cell. Now cell wall, it is tough. Okay. So tough means it is hard, and then it is made of, how is it made up of? It is made up of glucose, and this cell wall is responsible to give the shape to the cell. This is shape. So cell wall is responsible to give the shape to the cell. So because of cell wall, the plant cell looks beautiful. Okay. So it gives a shape also, and we have an additional layer inside it, and we have other vacuole and other parts in this, inside this cell membrane. So this is cell membrane, we can say. Okay. Which is common in both plant cell as well as animal cell. And this part, external part, is cell wall, and this cell wall is made up of glucose, and it gives shape to the cell, and it is tough. Okay. And this cell membrane is selectively permeable. It is porous and selectively permeable. So it allows only few substance to enter and leave the cell. And it is a function is also to protect the cell and to separate it from the other parts of the to separate the cell from the other cells. Okay. Now next is cytoplasm. So what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm, again, cytoplasm, you can consider it as the viscous or jelly like substance. So cytoplasm is jelly like substance. Have you ever seen yeah, you might have seen egg. Okay. So egg has like a nucleus, yellowish part, yolk, and then it also has some jelly-like substance floating in it. So that jelly-like substance is nothing but cytoplasm. So now this cytoplasm, this jelly-like substance is present inside the membrane everywhere. And all the other bodies or all the other, you can say, structures, they are present floating in this cytoplasm. Like we have mitochondria, we also have nucleus. So all these other substances, they are floating in the cell. We have ribosomes, we have lysosomes. So all these different structures, they are floating in the cytoplasm. Okay. And this is the site for various chemical reactions. So the different chemical reactions, they take place in this cytoplasm. Okay. You can see it everywhere. Okay. This cytoplasm. So various chemical reactions takes place in this cytoplasm. Okay. Now it also contains a different several membrane bound. Membrane bound means you can see here. This is a Like it is a mitochondria, so it has its own membrane. You can see here nucleus, it has its own membrane. Then you can also see ribosomes, lysosomes. So different structures that you can see or observe inside this cytoplasm, all are membrane bound. They have their own membrane. Okay, membrane, what is membrane? It is like covering. They have their own covering, okay, which separates it from other parts. Now these membrane bound bodies are called as organelles. Or what do we call them? We call them as organelles. Okay. So these membrane bound bodies are known as cell organelles. Okay. Now the first one was cytoplasm. So the next one is Golgi apparatus. Now what is Golgi apparatus? Golgi apparatus is nothing but you can say like it is again membrane bound. It is again membrane bound, fluid filled. It has fluid inside it. So it has its membrane. You can see this is the membrane lining. Yes. And it has some fluid. Okay. So these are the fluid filled sacs. Okay, so membrane bound fluid filled sac like structures. It acts as a sac. Sac means like a bag in which you can store certain things. So this fluid is present inside this sac like structure. You can see here. Okay, so this Golgi body or Golgi apparatus, it is also known as Golgi body. So this Golgi apparatus, it is made up of several. There are many. You can see it has many several membrane bound fluid filled sac like structure. Sac means bag, that are stacked together. Stacking means like how when you go to a reception or any party, you might have seen different plates keeping one like kept one over the other. Okay, one above the other. So in that way you can say that you can see that these this Golgi apparatus, they are the fluid filled sac like structures that are kept one above the other, like in the form of sac. Okay, now what is the function of this uh, we can say Golgi body? Its function is it helps in the formation of lysosomes. Now what are lysosomes? We are going to study about in further slides. Okay, so lysosomes are also present these are also the structures that are present in the cell. Okay, so we are going to discuss about the lysosomes further. Okay, so I hope it is clear about Golgi apparatus. What is Golgi apparatus? It is made up of several membrane bound fluid filled sac like structures that are stacked together one above the other. Now it is responsible for packaging and transportation of fats and proteins. What is the function? It also transports fats and proteins from one part to the other part. Okay, so this is the function of Golgi apparatus. Okay, now uh, now we will discuss the next part of it. That is next part of it. Next part is vacuole. So what is vacuole? Let us discuss about it. So again, these are also fluid filled spaces. Okay, the empty spaces. These are the empty spaces that are filled with fluid. So these empty spaces, what is the function of these empty spaces? Again, yes, you don't think that it is empty space, so it doesn't have any use. It also has its function. So these are the fluid filled spaces which are enclosed by a membrane. They also have their own membrane. Yes, they also have their own membrane or a covering. So these are fluid filled empty spaces. Okay, which also has a membrane. Now what does it do? It stores excess water, some other pigments or some substances, and then like some useful minerals and other substance. You can consider it as a storage house, like it like storage. Yeah, it stores the excess water, pigments, useful minerals, and some other substances. Now in plant cell, large vacuoles are present, but in case of, and only one vacuole, but in case of animal cell, there are many vacuoles present, but they are small in number. So in plant cell, we have in animal cell we have many vacuoles, but in case of plant cell we have only one vacuole. So again, you can write down in the difference between plant cell and animal cell. Plant cell has only one vacuole and it is large in shape, and in animal cell we have many vacuoles, but they are small in shape. Okay, I hope this is clear to you all. Okay, now uh, we have completed cytoplasm, we have completed Golgi apparatus, we have also discussed about vacuole. So now the next part or the component of cell is lysosomes. I told you when we were discussing about Golgi apparatus, yes, who is responsible to produce lysosomes? Golgi apparatus. And I told you that we are going to discuss about it. Okay. So let us see what is lysosome. Now, what are lysosomes? Lysosomes, it contains enzymes. These are the structures. So you can observe here, like this is lysosome. Okay. So now this lysosomes, this is the membrane of the lysosome. Okay. Now it contains enzymes. What is enzymes? Enzymes are nothing but the chemical substances. Okay. These are the chemical substances that are that take part in the chemical reaction or that help in chemical reaction. So these lysosomes, it contains chemical substances or enzymes. You can also call them as enzymes. Now the function of this lysosome is they digest the cells and other materials. So why do they need to digest? Now why do they need to digest the cell? Like suppose when the unnecessary or unwanted growth of cells taking place, and during the case of emergency, this how do they digest? During case of emergency, when you have suppose cancerous cells or any other cells growing in your body, so your body understands this growth as abnormal, and then the lysosomes present in the cell burst out, and when they burst out, those chemicals or the enzymes, they are released in the cell, and those enzymes destroy the cell. Also, you need to repair the cells once they are grown, because always the continuous growth or multiplication of cells takes place. So for destroying those cells or unwanted cells during case of emergency, lysosomes burst, and hence as they burst out and they kill the cell, whole cell itself, that is why they are known as suicide bags of the cell. So this is very important. Why are lysosomes known as suicide bags of the cell? Because they, during case of emergency, they burst out and they release the enzymes, and these enzymes digest the cells. That is why they are known as suicide bags of the cells. So I hope this is clear to you. Now, after lysosomes, we will move to the next part, which is endoplasmic reticulum. Now, what is endoplasmic reticulum? Okay. Now, endoplasmic reticulum, you can see it is like a tubular structure. Okay. Interconnected network. All these are connected to each other. You can observe like this. Yes, they are connected to each other. So interconnected network, it is an interconnected network of tubules. Okay, so all these are interconnected, they are connected internally, and it is a network of tube-like structure. As they are tube-like structure, okay, so it is known as interconnected network of tubules, or we can also call it as channels. So endoplasmic reticulum, these are the interconnected network of tubules or channels. Now what is the function? As they are interconnected, so what will they do? They will perform the function of transportation. Okay, so they transport the food products from one part. This is the nucleus of the cell, and like we have Golgi body, vesicles, lysosomes, and all. So can you find the difference? Here we have rough endoplasmic reticulum, RER, and these are also tubular structure, but we call them as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So can you find the difference between these two? Yes. these like endoplasmic reticulum, you can find some certain small granules, okay, granules attached to these tubes. So when those granules or these granules are known as ribosomes. When ribosomes, now what are ribosomes? The question might be coming in your mind, like what are ribosomes? We are going to discuss about it also. So when these ribosomes, because these are also the structure or organelle, the structures that are present in cell. So these ribosomes, when they are attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, then we call it as rough endoplasmic reticulum. And when ribosomes are not attached to the endoplasmic reticulum, then they are referred to as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, I hope this is clear to you. Okay, now the next one is ribosome. As I told you, granular like structure, granules. Okay, so those small granules are nothing but ribosomes. So you can observe here colorful granules. Okay. So these granular structures, when they are attached to endoplasmic reticulum, then they are known as rough endoplasmic reticulum. And when they are not attached to the reticulum, they are known as smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So RER and SER, we have already discussed about it. Now, what are these ribosomes? These are nothing but granular structure. Now, what do you mean by granules? Like pollen grains, you might have seen small yellow colored granules in hibiscus plant or flower, and like in some of the flowers you might have seen. Okay, so they are in the form of like granules or powdered form, we can say. So these granular structures or powdered form structures, they are found scattered around because they are very small in they are in powder form, so they are simply scattered around, so dispersed here and there. Okay, so they are present in the cytoplasm. And what is cytoplasm? Cytoplasm is that jelly-like fluid, okay, where in which all are these structures are present. So these are scattered around in the cytoplasm. And are they useless? No, they also have a function to perform. These are the primary site for protein synthesis. So what is their function? To synthesize the protein. Okay, to synthesize protein. So their main function is, primary function is protein synthesis. Okay, now after these ribosomes, the next structure is mitochondria. Now this is like very important structure, you know, mitochondria. Do you remember suicide bags of the cells I have discussed with you? Yes, lysosomes are the suicide bags of the cell. Now this mitochondria is also important because it is known as powerhouse of the cell. Now from its name itself we can understand why it is known as powerhouse of the cell, because you can see here mitochondria. Okay, it has its one membrane. This is one membrane. Okay, then again it has one more membrane like this. So how many membranes it has? It has double membrane. So that is why it is known as these are double membrane bound, spherical or rod shaped. Now this can be, this is the rod shaped example. So we can also have spherical mitochondria present in the cell. So these are the spherical ones and these are the rod shaped ones. Okay. So now mitochondria, these are double membrane bound, means these are the organelles which have double membrane. So these are the double membrane bound spherical or rod shaped bodies. Now they act as the site of energy production. So their main function is to produce energy. So their main function is to produce the energy. Now, why do cell needs energy? Do you think that cell needs energy? Yes, of course, cell needs energy to perform various functions, to carry out different functions in the body of an organism. So that energy is obtained, like we consume food and we get energy. Okay, so we need energy to perform different tasks in our daily life. In the same way, cells also need to produce energy, and this energy, they act as the site of energy production, and they are also known as powerhouse of the cell. They are known as powerhouse of the cell because they are the primary site of energy production. That is why they are known as powerhouse of the cell, because they give power to the cell. Okay. So now I hope this is clear about mitochondria. Okay. Now let us move to our next topic, that is plastid. Now what are plastids? Plastids, these are nothing but again double membrane bound organelles. You can see they also have double membrane, one membrane like this and another one here. Yes. So these are also double membrane bound organelles, like in plants. These are also double membrane bound organelles which has double membrane, and they are spherical or ovoid in shape. This one, this is a plant cell. This is cell wall and cell membrane. Okay. So these plastids also have double membrane structures, or they are either spherical in shape or ovoid, means they are like in the form of sphere, or it is in the form of oval shape, like they are either oval in shape or they are in the shape of sphere. So they are spherical or ovoid in shape. Now they are present only in plant cell. That's why I have represented here the diagram of plant cell. Okay. So they are present only in plant cell. Again, you have got one point of difference. The next point of difference is plant cell, like plastids are present only in plant cell. Plastids are not, they are absent in the animal cell. Okay. So along with this topic, we are going to discuss about the difference between plant cell and animal cell also. So what do they contain? They contain a pigment which plays an important role in functioning of plant. So this pigment, it plays some important role in the functioning of plant. As you know, plants perform several functions. What is that? One is photosynthesis. Yes. So some of the functions, depending upon what function they perform or what is their color, they are of three types. One is chloroplast, second one is chromoplast, third one is leukoplast. You know about chloroplast. Yes, chlorophyll. It contains chlorophyll, and chlorophyll is a green pigment which is necessary for the process of photosynthesis. So let us see what are these chloroplast, chromoplast and leukoplast. Now these are the chloroplast. So chloroplast, it contains a green pigment, and this green pigment like is known as chlorophyll, and this chlorophyll is important for the photosynthesis. Yes, for the plants to make food. So what is that process known as? The process of by which plants make their own food with the help of sunlight, water and carbon dioxide, that is known as photosynthesis. Photo means light, synthesis means preparation. So by using light, sunlight, plants prepare their food. Yes. So this and for that chlorophyll is required, and chlorophyll is present in the chloroplast. So this is the structure how chloroplast looks. Okay. And this is the green pigment which is known as chlorophyll. Now we'll discuss about chromoplast. Now, as we have already discussed about chlorophyll, so it is a green pigment. So this chromoplast, they are not similar like chlorophyll, but they are, unlike it, they contain the non-green pigments. So the non-green pigments of the plants, they are responsible for giving color to the flower and the fruits. As you know, different flowers and different fruits, they are of different color. So this color they get from chromoplast. Okay. You can see here yellow colored flower. You can also see this like another like pinkish red and like combination. So these are because of the different colors of, like, this is because of the chromoplast. Okay. Chromoplast. Now leukoplast. Now by seeing its image only you can guess, is it colorful or colorless? Yes, absolutely. It is colorless. You can see that it doesn't have any color. So these are colorless pigments that are present in the plant cell, and their function is to store food. They are not responsible, neither responsible for food production. They are not green. They are neither, they are not colorful, so they are not responsible for flowers and fruits. But these are colorless and they store food in the form of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So their function is to store food in the form of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. So chloroplast, they are the green pigment. They are responsible for the like food production in the process of photosynthesis. Chromoplast, these are the non-green pigments. These are responsible, we can say, for the different color of the flowers and different colors of the flowers and fruits. And leukoplast, on the other hand, they are colorless and they store food in the form of carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. And this food is utilized by the, like this energy is utilized by the organisms to survive and to live a healthy life. Now, the next structure on the next part is centrosomes. What are centrosomes? Now, centrosomes, these are like in the form of bundles. Okay. So these centrosomes, they are present only in animal cell. Yes, thank God. Till now, all these things which we were discussing, they were present only in plant cell. Okay. So this animal cell, they are these centrosomes, they are present in the animal cells, only animal cells. So one more point of difference, centrosomes are present only in animal cell and they are absent in plant cell. Okay, so you can add this point in the difference between plant cell and animal cell. So by the time we finish the structure of cell, you will be in a position to find out the write the difference between plant cell and animal cell. Now they initiate and regulate cell division. So their function is to initiate or to regulate or to start the cell division, we can say. Now why does cell need to divide? Why do you think that cell need to divide? Yes, because if the cells do not divide, then there will be no growth of the body or the organism. Okay, so that is why cell division is important for the growth and development of the body. Okay, so that is why this cell division is important, and this cell division is initiated or it is started by the centrosomes. So centrosomes, they are responsible for cell division. They divide into two and they go to two different corners and then of the cell, and then cell starts to divide from there. Other structures also divide and they regulate or they control the cell division process, we can say. Okay. So centrosomes are responsible for cell division. Now, nucleus, it is the most important part of the cell. Yes. Now what is nucleus? Nucleus is like the brain of the cell. Like how in human body, like for us, like brain controls all the functions, our whole body. So in the same way, cell is controlled by the nucleus. Okay, so nucleus is like the brain of the cell. Now, what is the shape of the nucleus? You can observe here. This is spherical in shape, like a ball. Okay, so it is spherical in shape, like ball. Now, it is surrounded by nuclear membrane. Like how cell has cell membrane, so nucleus has nuclear membrane. This is the nuclear membrane. Okay, nuclear envelope, we also call it. Then like how the cell has some small pores in it, in the same way nucleus also has some pores. Now these are the pores, you can see here, here. Again, these nuclear pores are again selectively permeable, and as they are selectively permeable, they allow only few things to enter the nucleus and leave the nucleus. Okay, and like how in cell, we have a cytoplasm, the jelly-like fluid. If you remember, we have discussed about it. And inside the cytoplasm, all the other structures are floating. So in the same way, nucleus has nucleoplasm. Okay, so it has nucleoplasm, and this nucleoplasm is present within the nuclear membrane. And cell, like cytoplasm, is present in the within the cell membrane. Okay, Now this nucleoplasm, what does it contains? It contains chromatin fibers. Now what are chromatin fibers? Can you find out here like these structure, thread-like structure? So these thread-like structure are chromatin fibers. So these chromatin fibers, they contain chromosomes, and these chromosomes are nothing but they contains the genes and that are responsible to carry the genetic information from parents to the next generation. They contains genes, that is DNA, RNA, yes, genetic information. Okay, so that is present in the chromatin fibers. Okay, now nucleus is, it also contains nucleolus. Like how cell has a nucleus, in the same way nucleus has a small spherical rounded structure which is known as nucleolus. Okay, so this is about the structure of nucleus, which is also known as brain of the cell. Now, the last important part of this lesson is cell division and growth. As I have already discussed this point with you before, when I was explaining about why cell need to divide, like when we were discussing about centrosome. Yes, centrosomes are responsible to initiate or to start the cell division. So, the food that we eat, it increases the size of the cell. Definitely, when a cell is small in size, so the when you consume food, so with that food, the size of the cell also increases. Okay. Initially, if the cell is small, suppose initially the cell is small, so when you consume food, its size increases. But after reaching some size, after it reaches some size, maximum size, so it needs to divide into two, means the cell need to divide, and this process is known as cell division. So cell division is the process of division of cell, process by which one cell, single cell divides into two, that is known as cell division. Now, because of cell division, the number of cells present in our body increases, and this increase in the number of cells, it is responsible for the growth of the organism. Unless until there will be no division. You imagine when you were small, you were young, like when you were born, you were very small, but slowly, gradually your size increased. Okay, so this increase or this growth is because of the cell division. Okay, now cell division, it replaces, it is also important to replace the dead cells or damaged cells. Imagine if all the animals or organisms, if all the organisms or animals that die, if it remains on the earth, if they do not decompose, what will happen? There will be no space or for the living beings to survive. So they need to decompose. Okay, so in different manners. Okay, so in the same way, cell also, the dead cells or the damaged cells, like when you get hurt, suppose you got hurt, so your skin got damaged, so then it needs to be repaired, new skin develops there. So it is because of the cell division, otherwise there will be no repairing. Okay, no repairing will be there. So this replacement is required for proper functioning of the body, and for that cell needs to divide. So the old cells are replaced by the new cells because of cell division, and this process is very important for the growth of the cells. So in this today's lecture, we have discussed about the structure of cell, the different structure of the cell, like cell membrane, cytoplasm, then Golgi apparatus, then lysosomes, vacuole, endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, then mitochondria, and also plastids, centrosomes, and the most important, nucleus. And we have also discussed about the difference between plant cell and animal cell. Okay, so this chapter ends here, and with the next chapter in the next video, we'll come up with the next chapter, reproduction. So until then, please do like, share, and subscribe to my channel, and help me in reaching to the maximum people. So I hope you have liked this video. So please write your suggestions and your views in the comment section. Okay, so until then, bye bye, have a nice day.